Welcome to Fishing in Germany. In this episode, I want to go over some apps that I've been using on my smartphone that are interesting to use for fishing. Um, if any of you know of any cool apps for fishing, please feel free to mention those in the comments below. I'll put a link to all of these apps I go over in the description. And this is in no way in any particular order. I wrote a list out of what I have on my phone for fishing apps, and I'm going to go through each one briefly. The first one is called Fishbrain, and it's like a social media app for fishing. It's kind of cool because I can take a photo of a fish, or it'll detect it too. Like we detect new catches when there's a photo of a fish on your phone, and it'll recommend the species, and it's pretty accurate. So if I catch like a bream, it will usually suggest it's a bream, or you can say no, this is crucian carp or whatever. Um, you can log in where you caught it, what time, the date, uh, what method, what bait, the size, the weight. So that's the main reason I use it because I like to keep record of all that stuff. Um, and of course, you can add people on it. So I'm there under Fishing in Germany if you want to add me, and you can follow, you can like pictures, blah blah blah. It's typical social media. The next one is called Fishing Points, and this one is I have the free version, or you could pay for it. The free version, main thing I use it for is it's going to track your GPS, and it gives you like the Solunar data, which affects how animals react. Um, so if I check for today under fish activity, it's telling me the fish activity is low, 31%. And it's also telling me the major times and the minor times, the best when the fish are most active and least active. And I mean, I've never seen it go off of this where it's, around the peak is after the sun comes up, and in the middle of the day there's a peak, and then the next peak is after the sun goes down, right around sunset. It's always about the same. Uh, how accurate it is, I mean, sure, it's accurate but I mean, how relevant it is, I don't know. I'm still experimenting with this. I try to keep track of it when I catch fish. I've gone on days where it says excellent and didn't catch anything. I've gone on days where it says extremely poor and I caught something. But usually those times of the days are always good anyways. So this one, it's a free version, and I can look at the current day. For right now, I'm on the 24th. I can go back to yesterday or the day before. But if I try to look at tomorrow, I have to buy the premium version. So it's only good for the day you're using it on. On that note, there's another one. It's pretty much exactly the same thing. The data, I compared them. It's showing the same results. And that's called Fishing and Hunting Solunar Time. Same kind of thing. And it's going to show like the same times. And it also says 15% chance today it's poor for fishing. Um, what times are the peaks? What times are the major and minor times? This one, it's also it's a free version. You could pay for a fuller version. But this will actually, I can look at tomorrow with this one. So I can check out at least the next day. So out of the two, this one's better for that reason. Next, this is a good one if you're in Germany. It's called netzangler.de Schonzeiten, which is basically, it's telling you you can check it, you can get it for each region you're in. So if you're in Bavaria, you can get one for Bavaria. I'm in Rhineland-Pfalz, so I got one for Rhineland-Pfalz. And I mean, most of this info is basically on your fishing license, but it's kind of convenient to have it here, I guess, if you're not sure about something. And it's when I open it, I pick my region, Rhineland-Pfalz, and it's going through all the species of fish. And like, for example, let's find one that has a time. Asia, which is grayling. It's telling me the minimum size to keep it is 30 centimeters, and the Schonzeit, that's the time you're not allowed to catch it. That's between the 15th of February till the 30th of April. So it's going to give you all that info on all the species of fish. And there's some where, like a sturgeon, where it's going to tell you you're not allowed to catch those. You can catch them by accident, but you're not allowed to keep them. You have to put them back. And yeah, that's a pretty interesting one. Like I said, all that information is usually on the back of your fishing license, but it's in small print, so this is sometimes handier to keep around. One I just came across today, I have no idea how to say this. Ikijime, I don't know. That's going to be in the description. It's called, I have Ikijime tool Lite. And I guess the Ikijime tool it's basically just like a fancy ice pick to drive through the fish's brain. And I just got it now. I just heard about it and checked it out. And it's kind of cool. This is a free version. I don't know how it differs. So each time I open it, this is kind of tedious. I have to go Europe, then inland, water type, fresh, select fish group. I'll just say all, and then it still asks for species. And let's just say, let's do catfish. And go fish. And it's going to show, it gives a brief description, the Latin name, all that stuff, how their distribution, the size. And then if you click on X-ray, it shows a picture of the head. See if you can see that. And we have that oval there that shows where the brain is. If we slide the slider, it goes to, if we go all the way to the right, oh, this one doesn't have an image for it. Classic. Let's try different species, because all the other ones had this. Let's try eel. All right, again, we have the picture of the eel, and you can see that oval where the brain is. And if you know eels, they're really hard to kill. And if we slide that over, the more we slide it over, it shows in X-ray. We can kind of transfer it. Kind of interesting. I don't know how useful that is. I mean, normally here, to kill a fish as quickly and as humanely as possible, we use some kind of club, whack it over the head, and then cut it in the heart and bleed it out. And I guess this is another method. If you use like an ice pick or something like that, and you know where the brain is, and drive it straight into the brain, that's also an effective method. So yeah, the last two I want to go over. There's one I didn't write it down here. I know I have it here. It's fishing. It's a app for fishing knots. There's quite a few of these. I checked out one or two, to be honest. This one's called Fishing Knots. I believe it's a light version, so it has ads. I don't want to remove ads. Yeah. So it goes through a pretty good list of knots and pretty good details on how to tie it. That's convenient for me, because I mean, I don't really use a lot of knots. I use a clinch knot. I use surgeon's loop. Not a whole polymer knot, not a whole lot of other ones. But every once in a while there might be an occasion where, hey, I want to try this kind of setup. How I don't know how to do that knot. So this app might come in handy for that. The last one isn't really a fishing app, but it's really useful, and it's called Regenradar. Regenradar in German means rain radar, and that's exactly what it is. It's kind of like a live feed of a I guess a satellite of the weather. It's going to also work on GPS on your location. So when I open it up, I can't see if I'm focusing or not. This one's hard to see on the camera. Really hard to see. It's showing where I'm at anyways. And let me see if I can get it to zoom in. There we go. All right, and we see that blue area. That's rain. So when I hit the play button, it's kind of going through in the next hour where that rain is going. So it tells me in like around whatever time that was till 4 o'clock, I'm going to be a bit of rain over me. I found this to be a lot more reliable than using just a weather app or something like that. This gives me more of a real-time thing, and it's been really accurate. So up to the point where I'm like, oh, it looks like it's going to stop in 5 more minutes, and it does. So that one's really useful. Especially if you're not sure, am I going to be, if you're in the rain and you're like, okay, if it's 10 minutes of this, no problem, but if there's no end to it, and you can never tell here, it's pretty unpredictable with the weather. So that's the final one I have here. And like I said, if you guys have any other ones to suggest, please feel free. I'm very interested to hear about them.